Welcome to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast hosted by myself, Graeme and Glen, where we discuss all things Tottenham Hotspur with both the match attending and international supporters view. Unfortunately, Glen's been struck down by some awful bug whilst on business in Sydney, so we wish him a speedy recovery, and I'm flying solo tonight. This week's episode, I'll review the Villa match from last weekend, preview the Monaco match tomorrow, Everton away on the weekend, as well as taking a look at some of the news from around the squad, especially injuries. A lot to get through, so let's get on with it.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day, home and away.
So first of all, let's look at the Villa match. I went with Alex, my friend Alex, who's been a guest previously on the show, and I'm starting to think maybe I might not take him again because he's got a really bad track record in attendance with me. Don't think we've won a game when he's been going. The weather was shit. The match wasn't much better, to be honest. It was nice to see Nick Barmby at half-time being interviewed. He looked exactly the same as I remember him playing for us in that famous 5 team. The only difference being he's a little bit greyer than he was then. So in terms of the match, early lead for Spurs was a really nicely worked goal. I thought a very positive start. A good goal from Bentancur. Interplay with Kudus and Palhinha. And I thought that with the early goal, that it looked like a strong start. And hoping to see a strong performance off the back of that. We really came out of the blocks hard. And then we had another goal ruled out for offside, which I thought looked quite marginal from in the stadium, but I didn't get the benefit of TV reviews. So I don't know what it looked like from outside. I didn't watch it on Match of the Day or anything, so I'll let you be the judge of how close it was. And then I really didn't think that Villa created that much from open play. We looked fairly solid at the back. We didn't really look too worried. And then on the 37th minute, Morgan Rogers unleashed a really spectacular long-range goal. Keeper never got a look at it. And it's 1-1. So it just felt like we'd had quite a lot of possession, made quite a lot of chances, and we looked quite good up until that point. And so it was a bit frustrating, really. I don't know why. From distance outside the box, maybe we should have closed him down quicker, but it didn't look like we did much wrong. I think it was just a moment of brilliance, really. And then second half was not good at all. Their substitutions made much more an impact than ours did. Like Buendia, who scored the winning goal, was another great goal from way outside the area again. From the point that they scored their second goal, we didn't create another chance. We didn't have another single shot on their goal. Despite making a number of changes, bringing more attacking players on, even going to 3 at the back, it just didn't work for us. Maybe the original setup of the team wasn't great. I still don't want to see Bentancur and Palhinha play as a double pivot. I don't think it works. I don't think it allows us to progress the ball up the pitch enough. If you've seen Bentancur's passing map, it's all sideways. There's not enough forwards progression of the ball, and I think that's what we really miss. Having a player like Sarr, who will run with the ball, or Bergvall, who's a bit more progressive, also running, but also has a better range of passing and tends to try and play a forward pass. Or even Archie Gray, I think when he's played as Nate, has looked like he could be a foil for Palhinha. Palhinha's a kind of money ball player in that in the aggregate, he's perfect. He gives you all of the defensive cover you need, but his limitations in terms of progressing the ball up the pitch need to be counteracted by someone else in the team, and I don't think that Bentancur has been doing that. So what else? Odobert, I didn't think had a very productive game. I don't know if it's just we need to persevere with him, give him some time. I think having a left-sided player and not playing someone out of position there is a benefit for us. But at the moment, he's not really generating a lot of chances, like in comparison to Kudus on the other side. And Tell had a pretty anonymous game, I thought, this time. Not that Richarlison did much better when he came on. And Kolumwani came on as well later in the game. And I think one of the other things that early, or even before the game, that Romero pulled up before kickoff, which was unfortunate. And I fear that he's out for the Monaco game. And I don't know whether this is a short-term or longer-term issue. Apparently he was carrying it for a couple of days before the warm-up even, where he was pulled out. So could be more time, which is a worry, because Dancer came in. I thought he did okay. I didn't see any particular issues with him. In fact, we also get his throw-in weapon, which was used a lot. We had a number of long throws into the box, and they do tend to cause a lot of chaos, which is quite interesting. But I guess it's a sign of this season that set pieces are a big part of every team's attempt to try and gain some small advantage. I did read that last season 3 teams were taking long throws consistently. Brentford obviously being one of them. I can't remember who the other 2 were, but this season it's 11 teams. So obviously it's picking up. It's being picked up by a lot more teams who are trying to use it as an attacking threat. So that's quite interesting, and clearly we are one of those. I'm a bit worried, really. I have to be honest. Not making enough chances, so attacking intent isn't good enough. Not progressing the ball quickly enough through the midfield. I think Xavi's not receiving the ball. I think that teams are blocking those kind of passing lanes for the defensive players, and that's probably why they're doing so much sideways passing as well. We're not really, unless we're making long balls or clipping balls over the top to the wide players, we're really not making a lot of progress up the pitch, which is stifling our attacks. Yeah, I thought Xavi was pretty anonymous again as well, and I don't think that was necessarily his fault. Although I will say, every time someone had a ball, was looking for a forward pass, he did seem to be marked closely. He wasn't making enough space for himself to receive the ball, maybe, and maybe people were choosing not to pass to him because of that. Weird. We'll see whether we see any improvements, maybe a change in formation in future games. So I think that's the thing, is that the 2 goals were, I don't think you'd call them defensive lapses. Maybe in the second one, I think that it could have been closed down a lot quicker. Not necessarily Buendia, but the phase before that, I think Spence ended up not tracking a player properly. So actually, in terms of chances created, Villa didn't really create very much. But when they had 2 really good chances, they took them, and they weren't really even sort of like good chances. They were just special shots, and we don't really have that. We've not really had anyone taking clean chances. I mean, there was a few times when Xavi did get the ball on one side of the box, and he looked to be trying to get it on his right foot to curl a shot in. He didn't do it. He just kept going and get further and further until eventually he was too wide to actually shoot anyway, and then he ended up having to pass the ball because he'd missed the opportunity. We're just very frustrating to watch going forwards at the moment, and I like the fact that we've become more compact and more difficult to play through at the back, but at what cost? At the moment, I think we beat Villa 4-1 last year, and I think even Timo Werner scored against them, which is a bit weird. But yeah, it was an awful game, horrible. I'm very disappointed, and I'm worried a little bit because I don't see in the squad that he could play much differently. Maybe he could have started with Colin Moani or Richarlison, or maybe Richarlison on the left and Colin Moani up front. But I don't know how fit he is. I don't know how much of a game that Colin Moani could play at the moment. He's missed his pre-season, and then he's had an injury. Could be that 20 minutes is all he's managing at the moment, but something's got to change because, yeah, and I don't want to start seeing us playing Xavi out on the left, because the games where he played there, I don't think it was very effective at all. So that was a worry, that we need to find a way to have, if you like, replace 2 or 3 players in the team due to injuries and not see a massive drop-off. I think we talked about it earlier in the season and in pre-season. I think Thomas mentioned it, which was that, you know, we need to raise the floor, not just the roof. So I think at the moment we've improved certain areas on the first team starting 11. So for instance, Kudus and Xavi potentially are better players than what we had previously. Although you could say that Xavi's not much better than Maddison was at the moment. But then I guess I don't know if that's just time to bed into a new way of playing. But actually, when you start to get injuries, the understudies for those players are nowhere near the level that they need to be. Like when we're bringing in, we don't really have a proper left winger at all. We have players, but not one that I would consider to be a first team regular. Strikers, with Solanke out, we've really run out of goals up front, and then in defence, with Romero out, Udogie out, we're down to our last 4 defenders again. It's weird that we looked like we had some additional cover, but Tokai, the Japanese guy, is already injured. He's not played a single second for us yet. He's been injured from the minute he got here. And now we've got Dragusin still not back from that long-term, I think it was an ACL injury. And now Romero also, not sure whether that's going to be long-term or not, but we shall see. And even Ben Davies came back from international duty injured as well. So even if you would consider him to be cover in centre back or full back areas, we don't have him either. So the defence pretty much picks itself for the next game because unless there's a recovery, but I don't think that Romero and Udogie have travelled even to Monaco. So we shall cover that in a minute. So we lost another home match. Home record is 2 losses, a draw and a win, I think, this season out of 4 matches. It's not great. It's not the fortress that Frank was talking about anyway, that's for sure. So I'm not sure. We seem to be more effective away from home at the moment. Know why that is. There's no logical reason why that would be. I guess maybe teams are a bit more attacking minded when they're playing at home against us, which gives us more space. Maybe it's easy to play through teams that are pushing as well. I think if you go back for our last 18 Premier League games, so that's 4 this season and the last 14 of last season, we've only won 3 home games in the Premier League in 18, which is an awful, awful statistic. We know that last season was bad and was injury ravaged, and Ange's inflexibility to try and play differently to suit the available players to him, to keep persevering with his style of play when we would clearly had inferior players on the pitch. But my worry is that this has continued this season when we in theory we're starting to see the injuries rack up again, but we do have better players available to us, which is concerning. So yeah, it's our worst start since 2008-2009. So just 4 points from 4 games. So not good at all. We might be sitting reasonably comfortably in the top half of the table, but that's thanks to our away form, not our home form. So yeah, something needs to change. Really hope he reconsiders that double pivot. I think it has a massive impact on the fluidity of the game and how quickly we get the ball forward. I think it was too slow and ponderous in the build-up. It means that teams are able to get back into 2 banks of 4 behind the ball by the time we're thinking about getting out of our own half. So yeah, not happy with that, but we shall see. But not good. So I think that's the thing, is that it's weird because defensively we didn't play terribly. I thought we looked reasonable. Two good strikes, 2 goals. We lose the match. Okay, so we'll move on to the Monaco game. That's tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock kickoff UK time. So what's that? For 6 a.m. kickoff for Australia. Middle of the day kickoff for our US watchers. So not a great time for anyone really, apart from me, because I'm actually obviously not going to Monaco. I'll be watching this one at home. Concern again, 9 injured players. It's the middle of October and we've already got 9 injured players. So Romero is out for tomorrow. Udogie's out. Takai's still injured. Dragosin's still injured. Kulusevski's still out. Solanke's still out. Maddison's still out. Bissouma is out. Ben Davies is now out as well. So it's a big hit to the squad. You would probably say that maybe half of those would be first team starters, but we're losing the understudies to the injured person, and the understudy are injured. So if you look at Romero and Dragosin and Takai as centre backs, 3 of those out, and Ben Davies being another one who would cover, and Udogie all about left sided as well. So it's a real issue for us, I think. I don't know whether we really need to. I mean, every time we get a big batch of injuries, we seem to review the medical staff, and I thought we made massive changes after last season. I read that we changed the head of the medical team and nearly everyone who worked underneath him, but different people, same outcome at the moment, it seems. And I'm not sure, it's not the same coaching, it's not the same management, it's different styles, different training. It's weird. I feel like Frank's doing a lot more rotation of the players as well, so it's not like we are burning out the same players every week. We've rested players consistently, so I don't feel like he could do much more than he is. But yeah, it's really bad luck. I hope it's just bad luck and not anything more sinister. But yeah, it's a problem. So the game is 8 o'clock kickoff, as I said, at the Stade Louis II in Monaco. Stadium on top of a multi-storey car park, for those who haven't visited before. It's a very strange place, Monaco, in that it's very small, and so everything goes straight up in the air to make as much use of every square piece of land they've got, which includes sticking the football stadium on top of a car park. So far, we've got 4 points from 2 matches in the Champions League, which isn't a bad start. Although you would say that Bodo Glimt away game, the last one, was probably one of our worst performances that we've had for quite some time in Europe. I was really disappointed. Probably the worst game since the away game in the Netherlands last year. But yeah, so I'm hoping for more. Monaco, they're in transition, so they've recently replaced their manager with Sebastian Conley. I'm not very good with the names, but he's their current manager. They've mixed form in Europe. They got a really good last-minute 2-2 draw with Man City due to a late penalty, but they also got beaten by Club Brugge. So it's hard to really see what we're going to be facing, which team will turn up, the one that lost heavily to Bruges or the one that gave Man City a really good match. And also been inconsistent in the league. So maybe it's a good time to play them, or they might be thinking the same about us after last weekend. So we already talked about absentees for us. I'm not sure that there is much rotation that we could do. We'll obviously see Danso, I would imagine, with Mickey van der Ven again. I'm hoping we will play someone else alongside Palinha, but I'm not convinced that he won't. I think he'll persevere with that double pivot, which I won't be happy about. I can probably see Richarlison starting this match. Maybe, because Tell can't play, obviously, so we don't have any choices in attack. So I'm expecting maybe Odobert will stay on the left, Xavi in the middle, Kudus. So you pretty much the same except for the striker change. Fullbacks, no choices because everyone else is out injured. Centre-backs, we're down to the last two, so same. God knows what the bench is going to look like. There's going to be a lot of young players, I think, on the bench making up the numbers. Right, so what do we need to do? I think we need to get in. We need to really start quickly. I think that was good on Saturday that we did come out. The first 5-10 minutes, we were really aggressive and we attacked them. The pressing was very good. We need to keep that up. We need to take advantage of it, and we need to make the chances count. Those 4 or 5 chances we had in the first half and the match, if we score 2 of those, I think we go on to win that match comfortably. But with the 1 goal, we rode that for quite a long time, and then we didn't get a second goal. And then the equaliser and everything changes second half. They come out a lot more spirited than we did. So I'm hoping not to see that. Worried about defensive solidity. I think I do like Kevin Danso, but he's not the same player as Romero. He's very solid. He's a good header of the ball. His distribution is not good, though, in comparison. So Romero can ping a crossfield, sort of 50-yard crossfield ball out to a wide player and really break the press and get us an out ball, whereas I don't see Danso doing that. Danso's going to be doing much shorter passing, which kind of leaves us still under pressure, under the press. So we do miss that when it's not there, because neither of the midfielders, Bentancur and Palinha, are doing that, finding good defence splitting or press splitting passes through midfield. So we really miss that when it's not available to us. And we all really need to start taking some chances. It's no good creating them. We really need to start finishing. I think we really need 3 points from this match. We're getting to the point where if we really want to qualify and get through to the knockout stages, we need to start picking up points regularly. I would like to see us get 3 points from this game, but we shall see. So in terms of Monaco, they've got a home advantage. They've also got injuries as well. They have Eric Dyer is out. Paul Pogba, forgotten he was there. Vanderson and Dennis Zakaria all out. So they've got quite a number of missing players as well. Players like Ansu Fati and other attacking threats could be key to them in attacking options. I think that there's the story that they might switch to a back 3 to overcome some of the weaknesses they've got in the squad. I don't know whether that would be good or bad for us. It might mean that they play quite deep, which might not help us because we don't seem to be very good at breaking those kind of teams down. But we'll see. We'll see. For some reason, we seem to be favourites to win, although I'm not sure why, given the last match in Champions League and our current form in the league. I'm surprised at that. I would have thought maybe the draw was probably the bookie's choice, but we shall see. Yeah, so we could do with an away win. I think it would really boost us. Is it the next game is it Copenhagen at home? I think I'll be going to that one. But yeah, I think I would like 3 points from this one. But we really need to put up a bit of a fight and take it to them and make it count. Yeah, there were a few players on the weekend who didn't look like they were giving everything. I would like to see a bit more of that from the team. But we'll see how it goes. So my prediction for that match, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I feel like I would like more, but given where we're at the moment, I'd be comfortable taking something from this match, but I would much prefer us to find a way to win it, but I'm not that confident. Okay, we'll move on to the Everton match on the weekend. Sunday, 6:30 kickoff, so it must be the TV match on Sky in the UK. At the Hill Dickinson Stadium, our first match at the new Everton home stadium, which will be interesting. I've obviously never been up to the new stadium. I'm sure there'll be some supporters going up for the first time. We struggled last season against Everton. We lost up there at the old stadium. We are 6th, I think, at the moment with 14 points from 8 matches. Everton are 12th with 11 points from 8 games. So it's still pretty tight and pretty bunched up in that middle section of the league. They've been decent at home, draws and a win. I think away Everton form's not been as good. New stadium and crowd atmosphere could be an advantage for them. Seems to be quite good for them at the moment. It'd be interesting to see. We obviously got a fairly long list of injuries already, and we don't know what's going to come back from Monaco yet. We'll have to wait and see on Thursday, see who makes it out of Monaco alive. So definitely our forward and attacking depth will be impacted, and we really need to players out other than the strikers to start chipping in with goals. Continue, especially for Kudus and Xavi. We need to see more goals, I think, really to counteract the fact that we're missing first choice strikers. We have a really mixed record against Everton, I think, as I said before. We really need again to be strong defensively and also take chances. I think winning the ball, keeping and winning the ball in midfield will be important. I'm not sure. I've got a feeling that'll be a double pivot game, which maybe it works for a away match like that. The issue is that when we do play it, I'm fine with us playing to disrupt other teams. But in the once we do the turnover, we really need to make something happen with the ball. And far too frequently, we just give the ball away cheaply after winning it back. And then we're back under pressure again. I think that's something I've seen consistently in a number of the matches that we've been playing. Passing has been poor. It's not even like if someone's trying to make a really progressive pass up the pitch to pick out a player in a dangerous position, and it doesn't happen because it was a high risk ball. I'm okay with that. But we're messing up like less than 10-yard passes between players in midfield, which shouldn't happen. But yeah, so that would be interesting. Of the 54 matches we played against each other in the Premier League, we've won 24, they've won 10 with 20 draws. Interestingly, over half the games that we played against them have had over 2.5 goals. So if that continues, it will be an interesting game for the neutral. Hopefully for us, but we'll see. I think there's a lot of people. I'm looking at the betting predictions. They're all predicting a draw or a narrow win for us. Again, we're thought of very highly by everyone except people who are watching us play regularly, it seems. Yeah, so I don't know if I was going to make a prediction for this match. 2-1 win. I don't know why I'm optimistic about that one after the Monaco one, but maybe we see someone back for that match. I don't know how close some of the players are to coming back. Maybe Colin Mwani starts to play himself into more minutes. I'm not really sure about how fit he is. For all the stories about his injuries and his dead leg, I have a feeling he was really suffering from a lack of fitness through not having a pre-season, and also I didn't have a lot of rest after the Club World Cup with Juventus. So we shall see. Yeah, so I'd say 1-1 draw for me. I'm not sure what to expect from that match yet. I hope that we continue our reasonable away form. That would be good to see. So I've kind of covered everything I had for this. I've no witty banter with Glen, which has been tough. He's my yin, the yin to my yang. So we'll struggle through to get you an episode out today, and I hope I didn't disappoint anybody who was here for the Glen show. So thanks to everyone who's listened in. Please like and subscribe to the podcast to tickle the algorithm so we can get in front of more Tottenham supporters. And let us know in the comments what you think of our chances in the 2 up-and-coming matches. And to close us out, as Glen would normally say, come on you Spurs.
Let me be the one that you turn to.